Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be sharing with you my vegan calamari recipe. Calamari was my favorite Italian appetizer, so veganizing the dish was a must for me. So I really hope you do enjoy this recipe as much as I do. We are going to be using white mushrooms to give us that chewy calamari texture, and then we're going to infuse the mushrooms with the sea flavor by using nori sheets. Then we're going to serve that with the warm lemon ranch sauce. Let's start off by preparing our sea flavored broth. Roughly chop half a white onion and add that to the pan, and add a touch of olive oil. Once the onions have gotten some color, add 1 cup of white wine. Then add 1 32-ounce can of vegetable stock. Add 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of miso, fresh parsley, and some salt and pepper. So now to give the broth the sea flavor, we're going to be using 2 nori sheets. Just simply tear it up in small bits and then go ahead and add it to the broth. Now while we wait for the broth to get to a simmer, we're going to prepare our lemon ranch sauce. To a small saucepan, add half a cup of vegan mayonnaise and add the juice of half a lemon. Then we're going to be adding our spices to the ranch sauce. Half a teaspoon of dried chives, 1/4 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of dried dill, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Then add some salt and pepper. Then go ahead and give that a stir. We're going to let this sit and let the flavors really mingle in there. And then once we're done with everything, we're just gonna warm it up on the stove there and then serve it with the calamari. Now that we have the broth up to a simmer, we're gonna add 1.5 pounds of white mushrooms. And so at the midway point, go ahead and take a look at the mushrooms. After 15 minutes, the mushrooms will have soaked up that sea flavor, and we can just remove them from the broth and then transfer them over to a baking sheet. To remove that excess moisture, we're gonna put the mushrooms in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. So while the mushrooms are in the oven, let's get our breading ready. Add a cup of flour, half a cup of panko breadcrumbs, 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And now we're gonna grind up our spices. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds and 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds. Add that to the ingredients, along with 1 teaspoon of paprika. We're also gonna add some fresh parsley and some salt and pepper. Give that a mix, and then we're gonna prepare our wet batter. Add a cup of chickpea flour, a cup of water, the juice of half a lemon, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and some salt and pepper. And give that a stir. And now we're done setting off our station. We can grab the mushrooms out of the oven here. So you can see they've got a little bit of color to them, but that's exactly what we want. There's less moisture in there. Now that we have the mushrooms out of the oven, it's time to prepare them to get them to the batter. So with every mushroom, go ahead and remove the stem. We're going to cook the stem separately. And then once you get the mushroom by itself, cut it sideways like this, a couple of times each. Kind of like calamari, we're going to try to give it some tentacles. That way it gives it some more surface area for the batter to stick to. And just go ahead and repeat the same process for all the mushrooms. Now with the stem itself, all that we're going to do is just break it up with the fork like this, but leave the top connected. So then in its own way, it kind of has its tentacles as well. Now that we've got all the mushrooms cut up like we wanted to, let's get our frying pan ready. I'm going to use olive oil, but you can use vegetable oil if you like. Fill it up until we got about 2 inches worth of oil in the pan. Pat your mushrooms dry here, kind of remove that excess moisture. Go ahead and grab your mushrooms and add them to the wet batter here. Make sure they're all covered. And then we're going to go ahead and add that to our flour here. Now our frying oil is nice and hot. All we need to do is grab our calamari mushrooms and then add that in 2 batches. We don't want to overcrowd the pot there. So they don't need to be in there for very long. Depending on how hot your oil is, I wouldn't say more than a minute. Alrighty everyone, there you have it, vegan calamari. It's not the most simple dish to make, but I do have to tell you it is worth it. So I hope all of you give it a try. Thank you for watching.